Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Battle Brothers Season 3. As today, we once again find ourselves in the city of Agerstead. And sitting on a fairly tidy stack of cash, our brief sojourn definitely paid off. Not quite enough to upgrade our wagon just yet, but we're definitely getting there. And then aside from that, I also noticed that despite destroying the nearby Jerts, Agerstead still suffers from ambushed trade routes, which implies there's another camp out here somewhere relatively close by. And I would be tempted to scout around and look for it, but alas, we have but 2 days to complete our current patrol, so we'll put a pin in that for now, head for Helvik, and then from there to Damwald. And then we may come back. As we've seen, camps are definitely a pretty rich source of potential loot. Well. A group of particularly bold barbarians, it would seem. Though perhaps not so bold now that they've spotted us coming along. Barbarians about to hit that there caravan, Trip uttered, nodding towards a group of armor-clad aggressors lurking by the road. Think we ought to do something about that. Well, it is what we're being paid to do, Diego responded scathingly, the former peddler already preparing his shield. Huh. Yeah, I guess it is, isn't it? Trip almost sounded surprised. Come on, you two, McLeod shouted in passing, warrior at his side. We've got work to do. Finding their ambush foiled, the bushwhacking barbarians quickly turned their rage toward the approaching raiders. The raiders met them head-on, undaunted, but still wary of their heavy throwing weapons and their skull-capped clubs. Rook lunges, drawing first blood as his pike pierces hammered plate. Diego moves in next, clipping a barbarian's scalp with his sword, blood mingling with matted hair. Then Drak, a body blow, largely blunted by his foe's improvised armor. And he moves in from the side. Then Rev, a short charge and a stab, the point of his pike punching through layers of poorly tanned hide. Berlin moves in on the south, and projectiles begin arcing overhead. Tommy steps up onto a rise. An axe arcs, ending its brief flight buried in a brute's neck. A bolt glances from a barbarian's shoulder. A swift reprisal as an axe clips Alois in return, tearing the hat from his head, but otherwise seeming to leave him largely unscathed. The raiders quickly push back. Diego distracts his foe from the front. A sweep of Drakiith's blade from the side, and a head goes tumbling. Trip slashes once, twice. The curved tip of his blade carving against bone, his foe balking as an arm goes limp. Arrow moves in, a point-blank shot catching a throat-slit thug betwixt the eyes. And he circles wide, a whirl of the flail catching another in the throat. A gasping wheeze sounded as something gives way. Rev cuts one down on the north. The battle rages on, though already half the Reavers lay dead. Oh, come on, Val. You gotta land a hit at some point. Rook impales his foe through the shoulder, steering him right into a hurled axe. Trip hamstrings a Reaver as he tries to run, then falls upon him before he can rise. Alois ducks and weaves, popping off shots, landing glancing hits, wary of any other axes that might come his way. Verlin stabs a barbarian butcher through the shoulder. Rook another through the chest. Bowman finishes off the first. And the rest of the raiders rush in. With Valin claiming the final kill. Not too bad. A little messier than I would have liked, but that's just how it goes. No javelins, but we did at least get one bundle of heavy axes. Plus some other assorted sale goods. Let's go ahead and pull our wounded, which I guess is just Alois. And then we'll swap in some other raiders real quick. Also, let's make sure we slot in those new axes as well. Would have loved to get those heavy javelins. Man, those should have been in optimal condition, too. Oh well. Such is the nature of RNG. I'm a little less fussed on the throwing spear, but those can be fun. Helvik is just where it was said to be. You have the men go for some rest and recuperation, while you plan out the last leg of the patrol. Nice, just in time for some trading. Though with terrifying nightmares on tap, perhaps that's... well... okay, actually, that's not awful. Okay, yeah, we can work with this. One sec. And we're back. Trading done. Supplies restocked. Next stop, Damwald. Which is just a short shot down the road, so in theory we should be good. Duke Guntbert von Goswin is reading scrolls of papers as he welcomes you in. He's curious as to how many kills you racked up on patrol. You report 25, to which he hums, and makes a small note on one of his papers. Nodding his head, he kicks open a chest next to him, and starts scooping crowns into a satchel. He hands it over and then, without even looking up, tells you to get out. Yeah, that's fair. We did the job, we got paid, can't really ask for more than that. We do still have one terror contract active. And then 2 unknowns. Let's see what's on tap. A cowl-shaped man hisses at you, his teeth and nose winking momentarily from the dark of his hood. You've no time for lepers or jokers and demand the man get out of your way. Instead, he starts talking. My master requires your services. He's heard of your exploits. Follow me, and I shall take you to him. You rest your hands on the handle of your sword, and nod. Oh, all that for a parcel run. To Tonder. Okay. I mean, I did just say we might go back up there for that ambush trade route. Could take the long way. Scout for potential camps en route. Trivial pay, but yeah, we'll put a pin in that. Let me just check out this other contract first, and we should probably do the terror mission before we go. Duke Guntbert von Goswin welcomes you to his room, and then cuts straight to business. I need you to head east to the region of Spiderwood. I've recorded numerous rumors of enormous beasts roaming that land, and I believe every word of them. Snakes the size of trees, and tree mimics, also the size of trees. Whatever the hell they be, I want you to kill them and bring me their heads. Or scales, branches, whatever. I'll pay you for each you bring. Does this interest you? Oh boy, buddy. Treants and lindworms? I'm really not sure about that. Especially not for that price. I mean, I'm not gonna completely rule it out, but yeah, we'll get back to you on that. Shrot, that's what they're called. I mean, look, we do need to actually kill one of those things, but I'd rather do it on our own time as opposed to when we're at risk of potentially flubbing a contract. And, you know, let's be honest, I got lucky on that first batch of lindworms. Without the Nox error involved, we probably wouldn't have pulled that off. So I am thinking we'll take that parcel run. We'll shortcut through Spiderwood. Sounds like we might have some Shrot out there. But, as aforementioned, I'd feel bad if we left these guys in the lurch, so yeah, let's go ahead and take care of that terror contract. 900 gold, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. Not to mention it'll clear the current negative settlement condition, possibly give us some better trade prices. Really hoping we see Noxera this time out. We could use some Noxera tooth necklaces. Hey, direwolves, okay. Let me just get a gander at our lineup here. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do it to it. Having faced off with such dire foes before, it doesn't take the raiders long to track down the predators now turned prey. Though once again, as the pack draws near, the anatomists are quick to note that over half their number suffer the same mysterious malady that has driven so many other wolves mad. A phenomenon they no doubt like to study, but one which, alas, the wolves will simply not cooperate with, for they lack the anatomist's sense of academic curiosity. And thus instead are simply put down. The pack is met by a flurry of projectiles. An ankle arrowed, a haunch hatcheted, but one mud is given pause, brought short by Rook's pike, but the rest of the pack bays, unabated. Diego hesitates, then holds his ground as Drakiith grabs his arm. Shields raised, the two men stand staunchly side by side. The shield wall must hold. and he clubs a second wolf in the leg. Its elongated ankle, snapping like a twig. McLouch hesitates as well. Warrior whining at his back, then holds and sets his spear. And Verlin does likewise on the south. The pack is funneled towards their center line. Though some of the wolves, at least, try to circle, only to be met by Verlin's unwavering spear. Goodness. Hey, McLouch too. Nice. Wow, not gonna lie, I did not expect that to work as well as it did. Bowman puts an arrow through one wolf's shoulder. Valen cuts down another. The pack is bloody, unfocused, morale wavering, even through their unnatural madness. Drak moves up, a low sweep of his cleaver, gutting a wounded wolf. Rev impales another on the north as it tries to flank. And he pushes past McLouch, clubbing the impaled wolf's ankle. Another snap, a wet pop, as the beast is maimed. But McLouch holds steady, warily watching the filmy-eyed fiend perched atop a shallow rise. Were he to leave his post, he might leave Valen vulnerable. Yes, okay, caution well warranted. I was half expecting the beast to run away, but given that it didn't, it definitely would have gone for Val. Rook shears an ear, bloodying the scalp of the nearest wolf. Mark shoots another through the thigh. And as it stumbles, arrow pivots. A well-placed shot, puncturing a flanker's flank. Val drops one. Tommy another. The pack descends into chaos. The furry fury's fight or flight instincts fluctuating, though decidedly tilted towards flee as Drakiith beheads another. Rev pikes the twice-punctured pest on the north. And he fells another. Two beasts turn to flee. One rewarded with Trip's notched blade wedged between its ribs. The other's throat slit, but still stumbling away, leaving a winding blood trail in its wake. Rook moves in, impaling the last through the neck as well. Bowman takes aim, sight set on the distant fleeing form. The figure drops. And the rest of the raiders move in, each eager to lay claim to the final kill. Ah. And Verlin takes the honor. Not too shabby. Halfway decent drops, too. Couple of pelts, couple of adrenaline glands, and 3 treasure items. Having killed the foul creatures, you quickly order the raiders to collect evidence, as usual. Though you'd think at this point the local town elders would know to take you at your word. Goodness knows it's certainly not the first time you've saved their... Damwald welcomes you with horrifying screams. 3 of its citizens are in the town center being burned alive. The fires grow beneath them until the flames come licking at their feet, then crawling up their legs, drawing them to cry out for mercy, to which the crowd responds by throwing rocks. You about draw your sword to end this injustice when Alois, the witch hunter, stays your hand. He shakes his head and points at the burnings. Soon enough, the begging stops, and all 3 victims open their mouths, issuing forth a rumbling that silences the crowd and evens the crackle of fire beneath them. They speak in a guttural, uniform voice. Ye who watch us perish shall perish themselves. The bodies suddenly slump forward as though instantly made dead, and the cooking of their flesh resumes with a steady popping. The witch hunter orders your men to look away, which you quickly do. And behind you comes renewed screams, but this time from the townspeople themselves. You shan't forget this moment anytime soon. Oh. Well, that happened. Hey, Gebhard, bunch of people just died out in front of your house, but yeah, job's done, so I guess I'll just collect my pay and, good luck with that. Yeah, we're gonna go. Man, what a wild event. Especially since, as far as I can tell, it didn't actually do anything? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and unload all our trade goods while we're here. We've got some halfway decent prices. That'll also free up room for our cross-country trek. But yeah, man, that, that witch burning event, geez. That was a trip. Not you, Trip. A figurative trip. I wonder how that would have played out if we hadn't had Alois in tow. Perhaps that's our reward. Simply avoiding whatever dire fate we might have otherwise faced. Might as well condense those pelts while we're here. Don't think we need those for anything else. And let's be on our way. We'll go ahead and grab that parcel quest and head for yonder tonder. We'll head for the spider woods there, and then... Oh, actually. Oh, wow, right. I forgot about this place. We passed that on the way up here, but skipped it because we couldn't scout what was inside. Let's give that place another look. I mean, we need undead camps for our current ambitions, so... Shoot. Still no luck on scouting. Alright, we are going in blind. Could be skeletons, could be Weeder gangers. Let's pull the piercing, except for arrow. Arrow is important if we have a necromancer. Though even against ancient legionaries, he can still overwhelm. We'll pull Trip. Zarmal's probably a better bet with the Katal. Growing ever more curious about the unquiet corpses they have increasingly encountered, the anatomists detour the raiders towards the south. Their parcel still in tow, but their sights set on an entire different spot on the map. A peculiar potter's field they had passed some time back. One which at the time they had simply circumvented, but which the anatomists now insisted to which they return. And we've got zombies. Also geists. Plus a third row. Yep, there it is. Necromancer and Fallen Hero with Fighting Axe. Only 12. I think we've got this. The raiders cautiously approach, a dozen filmy eyes turning to track their progress. Their steps are light and stilted, stopping short after just a few. The dimly glowing figures of geists flitting in and out of view. The necromancer, however, shows no such reticence. A gesture, and his horde shambles forth. Geists will come at us at the end of round 2. Fallen Heroes coming in on the north. Yes, okay. The raiders hold the line, wary of the spectral figures hovering on the horizon. The first Forsaken figure to reach their line is met with a barrage of blows. Drakiith finally sweeping its head from its shoulders with a mighty cleave. The necromancer scowls. Another Wiedergänger's eyes unnaturally alight. Bowman puts an arrow into the crimson-eyed corpse, sending it staggering. It lurches forward, still tilting back and forth, its blows unable to find purchase. The geists sweep in, gliding forward silently, mouths agape. Rook darts forward, piercing the first of the phantoms, disrupting its delicate bonds with this mortal plane. And Rassel splatters the skull of the second necromancer's chosen. The headless corpse finally tumbling to the turf. Annie moves up, unable to find purchase. But Rev has more luck. His own pike piercing, the second phantom dissipating its form. The rest of the raiders push forward, no longer daunted by those sepulchral singers, instead turning their full attention to the more corporeal threats. The horde meets them halfway. The fearsome fallen hero, easily pushing past McLeod's waiting spear. Zarmal and Valen double-team a chain-cowled corpse, hacking it apart. Zarmal quickly hops over its fallen form, blade biting into the next. Foeman starts to circle wide, pushing past a partially collapsed column. Bow held low, arrow strung, ready to fire once he has a clear shot. Rassel pushes north. He and the rest of the raiders focus on wiping away the Wiedergangers, so that the company might focus on the more prominent threats. Annie dashes one to the ground. Drakiith decapitates another. Verlin pushes up, covering Arrow's advance. McLeod keeps his guard up, wary. Caution well rewarded, as a barrage of blows bite into his shield. Zarmal cuts down another corpse. Arrow pushes forward, but does not find the clear line of sight he had hoped for. Crouching low behind a nearby tree. Behind him, the raiders fight on. Tommy steps up. An awkward hurl and a weighted net spills over the armored figure. Rassel quickly follows up. Club smashing it upside the head like he's ringing a bell. The rest of the raiders quickly dogpile the briefly disoriented figure. As Drakiith dispatches the last Wiederganger on the south. Yet another head sent cartwheeling, courtesy of his cleaver. The Necromancer's scowl grows ever deeper, a gnarled finger pointing. A cut-up corpse wobbling back to its feet before Zarmal hacks it to ever smaller pieces. A shot from the shadows, an arrow from the trees. The Necromancer staggers, clutching at his neck. Another sharp swing from Rassel. The armored figure staggers once more. Another corpse starts to stand, only to fall as Zarmal slices its Achilles tendons. Another arrow from the shadows. A meaty thunk of impact, this time buried feathers deep in the Necromancer's thigh. Revenant finally jams his pike into an armored eye socket. A twist of the handle. A brisk whisk to scramble the brains. Oh, wow, not who I would have expected you to go for, but fair enough. His guard dispatched, the necromancer soon to follow. Cloven in twain. But a single sepulturite remains. Who will claim the kill, never mind its wrestle? And just like that, the unquiet dead are quiet once more. Not bad. That actually went pretty well. Sadly, not much to speak of as far as loot goes, though we did pull the fighting axe. Also this armor upgrade, though I'm not sure we'll actually use it. And of course this coif, which we definitely will. That's a good one for the archers. Let's get a look at those level ups, though I've got to say, I'm not actually entirely sure what we're going to do perk-wise. I did make note of what I want to do with the bannermen, I just don't have that in front of me right now. Drakiith I am less certain on. Let's do the stats. I'll double check the perks off screen. We'll grab the melee, we'll grab... I mean, obviously the resolve, he's our backup bannerman. The initiative... and Drak. Hey, nice! You actually hit that 20-point target, albeit one level late. We'll also bump fatigue. Yeah, we'll grab fatigue, we'll grab initiative. Pretty much all the frontliners are going to have overwhelm. You know what, that's what I think it was with the backline bannermen. I think I was going to drop overwhelm. We only have 3 perks left on each of them, so I want to say I was going to go Fearsome, Berserk, and Recover. But I will double check that before I lock it in. As for Drak, it is possible I was still considering dropping the shield. Going two-fisted on that cleaver. His defense isn't great, but he was just 1 level behind the curve. Actually, where... There was... Yes, right here. The Abandoned Village. That's the new legendary location, though a lot farther out than I realized. We passed that when we were coming up from the desert, and I got distracted by the orc camp we spotted at the same time, and I never went back for it. But we definitely want to hit that when we head back south. Not sure we can actually handle it. I actually have no real idea what's in there beyond what was in the developer update, but, ooh. Moving along the paths, you begin to hear a low hum emanating from the package Gebbard the Wise had given you. Valin is standing beside it, poking it with a stick. You slap him back. He explains himself. Sir, there's something that ain't right with the cargo we're tugging. You take a good look at it. There's a faint color brimming at the edges of the lid. As far as you know, fire can't breathe in such a space. And the only thing else that glows in the dark are moons and stars. You worry that curiosity is starting to get the better of you. Oh, I think I know what this is. Yeah, let's investigate. Yep. Curiosity gets the best of you. Slowly, you start prying at the lid. Rassel takes a step back and protests. I think we should leave that alone, sir. I mean, come on, look at it. Ignoring him, you tell the men it's going to be all right, and then you lift the lid up. It isn't all right. The explosion knocks you off your feet. Horrible shapes and shrieks swirl all around you. The men instinctively arm themselves as the piloted specters spear into the earth. There the ground lifts and mounds, and there too the earth begins to groan. You watch as hands shoot forth, dragging decrepit bodies from their pit. The dead live again, and surely they mean to add you to their ranks. Oh, shit. Okay, that I was not expecting. We've got Necrosavants. We have Necrosavants, and we're in random scattered formation. We need to cover our backliners. We need to tuck our most vulnerable in center. And get more defensible characters on the edges. A Necrosavant will totally wreck someone like Arrow or Val in a single round. Alois too. Tommy might be able to hold out a little, but not much. I mean, he'd be pretty reliant on surviving the first contact and then stunning, which he might have to do. I don't think we can fit everyone into a core shield formation. Oh, this terrain is not making it easier. Okay, Rook is on outer edge. He's got like 30-something defense. Rev is on inner, if we can fit him. Oh, shoot, I forgot to re-equip Tommy's net. I really wish those things auto-equipped. Like, if you already had one. I have the reset equipment option toggled. That really should be accounted for. Still have one on Val, though. Man, I wish we had Rastal here. Stuns and nets are how you handle Necrosavants. It stops them from just teleporting around. Holds them still so you can chop them up. Really hoping it's just the two. Okay, okay. Thankfully, the rest do look to be... Logs incoming. Okay, yes, I'll take that. We've got one locked on Rook. He should be able to hold out for a few rounds. Left flank's kind of a mess. We need to get that shored up. Unfortunately, Alois is not going to be able to help us much in this fight. He does not have night vision. Nice. A thrust of Revenant's pike pierces the penumbral figure, meeting strangely little resistance as it punches through its grotesquely bloated form. Black, brackish blood oozing. A stench of fetid rot wafting from the wound. The clattering cadence of skeletal soldiers approaches from all sides. But then, a flutter and a clash. A strangely curved blade, drawing sparks as it impacts Random's shield. The other raiders glance anxiously towards him, perhaps thinking to rush to his aid, but also not wanting to leave their more vulnerable backliners open to potential attack. Valen hefts his net, but too far to toss. He hurls an axe instead. A skeletal figure clatters to the ground. Alois follows his example, but his crossbow is ill-suited for a fight of this type. Random batters the figure that startled him so. On the north, Annie crushes another. Rook impales the fanged form that menaces him on the south, its skin growing ever more parchment thin. McLoush falters, warrior cowering behind him, cowed by this unnatural threat. He holds, not one to break formation. Rev strikes the other strange figure, piercing its heart, or whatever it has that might pass as one. However, it still persists, an avaricious gleam in its deep-set eyes. Verlin likewise holds, spear set, but reluctant to break formation. Bowman fires into the nearest figure. Tommy smashing it upside the head. McLoush reluctantly holds. Oh, no. A muffled grunt. A flash of moonlight on bloodied bronze. King's Rook staggers, face split wide. The figure that struck him somehow revitalized. Rook lashes wildly, his pike going wide, the figure dodging with uncanny agility, right into Revenant's pike instead. It all but disintegrates as it is once again impaled. But one still yet remains. McLoush finally lurches outward. A flick of his wrist, and Warrior is unleashed. Annie's flail whirled, another skeletal soldier, reduced to naught but bones and dust. Random growls in frustration, his own flailing strikes, unable to find their target. The sanguine stranger unnaturally nimble. Verlin spits a curse, stepping up, breaking formation, but just to cover Rook's flank. Okay, no, let's not do that. Where'd he go? Random shouts, his horns swaying back and forth as he pinwheels about, seeking his elusive foe. Valin pointing. Over here! They're drawn by blood! Hold still, Rev growls. A careful thrust, the second Necrosavant dodges backward gamely, only to stumble. Falling backward, it buys Rook some very brief breathing room. Alois shuffles to the side, making way for Rook. And the beleaguered bannerman stumbles back, blood still gushing down his face, soaking his bony armor. He's faint from blood loss, yet still somehow yet stands. And the raiders fight on. Gasping for breath. Muscles aching with exertion. Faced with tireless foes that will stop at nothing to see them join their ranks. Gosh darn it. A hurled hatchet, the last foe on the north. Dispatched. Warrior tears down another, this time to the west. Bowman takes a tentative shot, striking the figure in the face. It hisses viciously, quickly rebounding from the impact. It's probably going to come in behind us. Oh, good, you stopped bleeding. Guess that saves us a bandage, though it still leaves you on death's door. Alright, okay. It's coming in on our left. Oh! Really? Huh. Not gonna lie, I really figured you'd come in over here, but okay. The figure once again bursts into a cloud of flittering bats, swiftly reforming beside the startled random. This time, however, the raiders are ready. Tommy steps clear and moves. No. We've got this. Val comes in from the side, driving his spear into its abdomen, holding it steady so Random can get a hit in as well. Val runs up behind, hucking a net over Random's head, the silk-reinforced strands swiftly entangling the gaunt, ghoulish figure. Diego jumps up onto the rise, gesturing for Rook to follow. An easily defensible position should things go awry. Rev comes at it from the right, spearing into its shoulder, pinning it awkwardly against the brush. A hurled axe from Val buries into its sunken chest. McLeod circles wide. And Val finally stakes the squirming thing through the heart. Bones and fanged skulls clattering into a forlorn heap. But hey, look at that. Rook may have lost some face, but we've got 2 potions to show for it. Potion of the Night Stalker. Whoever drinks this incredible potion, produced with the ash of a necrosavant, will find themselves in possession of the miraculous healing powers of the undead creatures. It does not grant the extended lifespan associated with the abominations, however. Quite the opposite, in fact. This may be considered a feature should the imbiber get a bit too comfortable drinking blood. Basically 25% life drain on attack. As for the other, obviously that's just a retread of the one we already had before, that we effectively lost with Eerie. We'll toss that to one of the shieldmen. And we got a Khopesh. I'll have to double check the numbers, but I seem to recall those being superior to standard Scrammus axes. That might be a nice step up for Drakiith. Leave one slot empty. Your men weren't the only thing to survive the battle. The artifact, or whatever remains of its pulsing power, floats innocently where you'd last seen it. The thing is an orb swirling with energy, occasionally rattling, sometimes whispering a language you know not of. Mark Giemza nods toward it. Smash it, sir. Smash it and let us be done with this horror. Okay, that is also not what I was expecting. I really thought we were in for an Indiana Jones 4 scenario. But this is something different. I guess we'll complete the delivery? We've already dealt with the threat. I don't think they'd hit us with another, not on a two-skull. He said uncertainly, despite clearly not being familiar with this particular twist. Okay, well, that was ever so slightly nerve-wracking. But you know what? It's nice to get a fight that actually puts me on edge every once in a while. Not all the time, you know. I don't know if I've got the nerves to handle that, but boy, oh boy, did that get close. That's about as close as it gets. Poor Rook there was literally within one round of bleeding out, which I guess does pretty clearly highlight the fact that we really do need to give him a proper helm. I've kept him in this hat because I like the way it looks. But at this point, he's just too valuable to risk for the sake of fashion. It does feel wrong, though, to have the anatomists with exposed faces. I'll have to see if I can maybe find him a closed coif. And with that, I think we're at a good place to call it. My goodness. Necrosavants really are a nightmare. I knew we'd run into them eventually, I just didn't think it would be quite like this. You know, maybe I'll slap that bone plate on Rook, give him an extra layer of ablative. And I really should roll out a second round of potions. Anyway, yes, we will hit the pause button for now. I'm going to give all of that stuff some thought. And we will pick up here next time. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Arrow Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.